So for this video, I want you to use the original X-Men cartoon series theme, okay?
Sure, no problem.
What the hell was that?
That was the original X-Men cartoon theme.
Not that one, the good one.
Oh, okay.
The one from the 90s, Bill.
All right, okay.
Close enough. Welcome back to another episode of the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris, that's Bill, and today we are talking about the original X-Men movie trilogy from X-Men, X2, and X3, X-Men United, I think.
You couldn't have gotten that more wrong.
What is it called?
We got X-Men, X2 X-Men United, and not X3, but just X-Men The Last Stand.
Right, okay. So, Bill, how do you like the X-Men movies? Do they excite your emotions? Do they fill you with fear? Or how did you feel about them?
I mean, these were this started the Marvel boom of movies.
Definitely.
Like,
this one came out in 1999.
2000, oh my God.
Okay. All incorrect information all the time with the X-Men movies. Are you sure?
Yes.
In the millennium?
Yes.
Wow.
2000.
So this one is from the 21st century.
They're all from the 21st century.
I thought this was the final movie of the 20th century.
No, that was The Matrix.
Wow.
Probably. I don't really know.
No, that makes sense because everybody dresses like from The Matrix in these movies.
Sort
At least
of.
the first one.
More so the second one, honestly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Black leather.
Because, they have the leather outfits in all of them, but, Cyclops gets that trench coat in the second one for that one scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we should actually talk about them instead of me getting facts wrong consistently.
Okay, so I'll talk because you get things wrong, and I'll only get things mostly wrong.
Okay.
So, first and foremost, as it's generally known and accepted, the guys that directed these movies are a couple assholes, apparently.
It was just one guy that directed. Oh, you're right. It was two guys. I forgot.
Yeah.
X3 is directed by Ratner.
Yeah. So we're not, even though a couple of jerks, doesn't really hurt my enjoyment of the movies because there's so many other people involved.
Yeah.
Least of all, huge jacked man himself, the Wolverine. And of course, there was that one associate producer named Kevin who I think really would go places.
Yeah, Kevin was cool. Like we worked on the movie.
But, I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia here, but I guess we'll just go movie by movie.
Yeah.
So, X-Men. Just X-Men.
I mean, I guess just in general, but since we're starting with the first X-Men, the casting in these movies is so good.
I mean, right off the bat.
Patrick Stewart, Professor X.
Could they have cast anybody else at the time?
That's what Wizard Magazine said they should do, and then they
Wasn't that
did
years earlier, like a 10 years earlier or something like that?
I mean, I'm sure it was 1996 or something.
Something
or
like that,
somewhere around Star Trek. But
he was definitely a fan cast for a long time, and
Yeah.
it's him, he's good. People like him. He's in movies too.
Definitely. And then, you know,
The find of the century, Hugh Jackman.
yeah, seriously.
He wasn't even the original Wolverine.
Yeah, I've heard weird things like they wanted Mel Gibson for Wolverine at one point.
I think at one point because like all these kind of movies, they're in development for a long time, but they actually had legitimately cast another actor. Dougray Scott was cast as Wolverine,
Okay.
but he was also in Mission Impossible 2.
Right, the bad one.
Right. And that movie production went long, and he had to drop out of the role of Wolverine. So they had to scramble, and they found some guy named Hugh. Some song and dance man.
Seriously, he is a song and dance man. He's got a set of pipes on him.
I've heard him sing. He's a good singer.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of his dancing I've seen, but I'm sure he could dance better than me.
Yeah.
Because I can't dance for shit. But, I mean, then of course, to go up against Patrick Stewart's Professor X, we have Sir Ian McKellen, another Shakespearean actor,
Yeah.
as freaking Magneto. So good.
It's crazy.
He is so good in these movies. Even in the worst one, he's so good.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing too, where they kind of were like, we're doing Magneto's origin, and it starts in like
The opening scene of the first movie is just it's the Holocaust. Here's Magneto's origin.
Yeah.
It's such a good scene that they just reused it for X-Men First Class, and I actually watched them both back to back to see how. I wasn't sure if it was a shot-for-shot recreation completely or if they reused some footage. They obviously they reshot the Magneto kit, but it's a lot of reused footage though, so it's a blend.
Huh.
A little quicker paced than the newer one, but
Yeah.
like it's such a strong holy shit beginning,
Totally.
and it tells you everything you need to know about Magneto. Like you don't need to know any more about his motivation because it's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
He's seen the worst. He fears the worst. He knows the worst will come, and he will fucking stop it. If he can.
He's seen the absolute worst of humanity, and that scene goes into Charles and I guess Magneto kind of at like a UN type of thing.
Actually, before that, we have Rogue getting her powers.
Oh, that's right.
She's a young girl named Marie with her boyfriend. They kiss, but her powers have triggered, and he goes into a coma or something.
Yeah, she absorbs all his abilities.
Which, I don't know, teenage boy abilities, pimples, body hair where there used to be any.
Surprise boners.
The worst power a teenage boy has.
Don't look at me. I'm not excited. It just happens.
But then we go to that like Senate meeting, which is set in a not the U.S. Capitol, that's for sure.
Yeah. Also, we should note these movies take place in the future too.
The not too distant future of what by now is the recent past.
Yes, 2006 or something.
Yeah, like because they never give a proper timestamp, but I think there is like a supposedly definitive year.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we get a good solid introduction to Jean, a good introduction to Professor X and adult Magneto.
Yeah.
But then we reconvene with young Rogue in the Canadian wilderness, hitching on a truck. Truck driver, I believe, was actually played by the guy that voiced Beast in the original X-Men cartoon.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, she hitchhiked far to get all the way up
I think
to
she was
Canada.
from like they think she's from like what, Louisiana or something like that. She's from the South.
Yeah, she's from the South.
But she ends up all the way in Canada.
Yeah,
So like, there's been some time.
definitely.
A couple weeks, several weeks have definitely gone by. She's run away. She's in some dive bar in a dive backwoods town, and we meet Wolverine as a cage fighter.
The best character ever. Wolverine's the coolest superhero because he can kill or love anybody.
What does that mean? Love anybody?
It means he can love anybody.
I mean, mostly redheads, from what I've seen.
Sometimes Japanese ladies.
That's true. A couple Japanese ladies. He's got two types. Japanese woman, redhead. Oh my
And
god.
Storm.
Oh my god. Yeah, Storm.
Like I said, he could kill or love anybody.
But man, such a cool introduction. Like him just like destroying that guy in like 2 seconds
Yeah.
with like the clank and the headbutt and all that. That was really good.
And we get, Wolverine, no memories type of thing.
Yeah, this is before Wolverine's past was actually revealed, or at least like when it was still mostly a mystery. So like, who's this guy? Where's he from? I don't know.
Yeah, just a man from nowhere.
I love when he first pops the claws. That is such a cool scene where he's like up against the dude's throat and he cuts the guy's gun in half.
Yeah. It's a really good movie. It's also weird too because they sort of took Rogue and kind of were like, well, let's make Rogue kind of like the Kitty Pryde Jubilee type character too.
Yeah, because they give them that relationship that he's had with those characters, but he doesn't have that relationship with Rogue because he met Rogue as an adult. In fact, didn't like he hate Rogue for a little while because he put his friend Carol, aka Miss Marvel, now Captain Marvel, in a coma?
Yeah, she was a bad guy.
Yeah. So very, very different character.
I remember when I was a kid, it like annoyed me because I was just like, that's not how Rogue's supposed to be. She's supposed to be wearing like her like kick-ass like jacket and like flying around and punching people and kissing them on the lips and saying goodnight, sugar, as she like throws them off the building. Instead, she's all like afraid of her powers. But
she has like a realistic reaction to her abilities. If I'm being honest.
As an adult, I'm like, it's fine now.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like at this point in my life, I don't think I had seen a lot of the original X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see these first two when they initially came out. Like I saw them. I rented 1 and 2 when 2 came out because I started watching X-Men Evolution. That's how I kind of fell into the X-Men.
I saw all of them in theaters.
I saw the X-Men in theaters 3 on.
Yeah.
Except New Mutants, but that's...
Nobody
saw that in theaters.
I was so excited for the first X-Men movie because they were my favorite superheroes when I was a kid. Like, especially Wolverine. So I was like, my mom and dad, I was like, no, we need to see the X-Men movie. Like,
I mean, people forget, but in the pre-MCU days, Marvel's biggest characters were Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Yeah. Seriously, it was such a different world back then, kids.
Seriously. No one knew what an Avenger was.
Also, back then, War Machine was cooler than Iron Man.
He's still kind of cooler than Iron Man.
He is, but like Iron Man gets more play now.
Yeah, he is more popular now.
Let's not forget that War Machine was playable in, I think, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, but not Iron Man. Or maybe it was Marvel Superheroes. I should double check.
It was one of those fighting games.
The point is, we're off topic. X-Men.
X-Men the movie.
Yeah, X-Men the movies.
But, so, yeah, Wolverine and Rogue gets attacked by Sabretooth. They get saved by Cyclops and Storm. Cyclops, leader of the X-Men, does fuck all in all 3 of these movies.
That's all he is. It's just like he's the leader.
The field leader.
Yeah.
But he has like no role other than being the guy that Jean Grey is going out with, who...
He makes the one comment in the movie that initially made me mad as a kid, but I think it's funny now.
Oh, the yellow spandex line?
Yeah. Yeah, this is like, would you rather yellow spandex? And I'm like, yes!
A lot of people are like that now. I mean, he's the source of at least one of my favorite jokes from later in the movie when Wolverine fights Mystique, who disguises as him, and he comes back, and Cyclops is like, and he's like, whoa, it's me. Prove it. You're a dick. Oh, okay. Like, that's the closest they think they get to getting their relationship right.
Yeah. Yeah, they never get their, kind of okay with each other, but kind of frenemies, I guess, the type of relationship Wolverine and Cyclops have.
And the problem is Cyclops' roles in these movies greatly diminish as they progress.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like, oh, who's Jean gonna want to go out with? This charisma vacuum or Hugh Jackman in his prime in a leather jacket?
Yeah. Unless the leather jacket gets burned off or ripped off and he's just wearing like no shirt.
That doesn't help Cyclops at all.
Yeah.
Except maybe in the first X-Men movie, because if you go back and watch, like, in the scene when he first wakes up in the X-Mansion and he's running around without a shirt, he's in fine shape.
He's in good shape, but he's not like compared to
shape.
Where he was like in like
the later movies. Yeah.
Which one was it where he's like absolutely insane, like Days of Future Past?
And the Wolverine, he is shredded in both of those. But if you go back to the intro scene with the cage fight, he's a little more cut because he had more time to work out because that was later on in the shoot.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to do like the whole plot, but like I guess like the bare minimum plot is like Wolverine shows up. The X-Men are like, hey, you're like weird and you have like metal in your bones and what the hell's up with that? And then Professor X is like, mutant experimentation. That's something that I've seen before.
And he's just like, I think Magneto might want you with something, but I also might kind of think he might actually want Rogue because I'm Professor X. I'm kind of a dick.
Yeah. And I guess the whole plot is Magneto has a machine that turns people into mutants.
And he plans to use it on the world leaders at a summit on Liberty, not Liberty Island. The fight's on Liberty Island, but they're on Ellis Island.
Yes.
The world leaders. But the X-Men discover that the machine it's not good because it'll kill them eventually. Because they use it on Senator Kelly. He gets like weird globby powers, and he actually washes up on shore at a beach, and we get the first cinematic Stan Lee cameo.
Oh yeah.
Not the first Stan Lee cameo, just the first cinematic one, because he showed up in one of those whole TV movies.
It's awesome. And all the cartoons.
And an episode of Muppet Babies.
Wow. That's weird.
Very strange. But, the first one, it's compared to like later movies, it's actually really light on action.
It really is.
We don't really get anything till the third act. We get like a bit in the cage, like a minor scuffle at a subway, but it's such a minor scuffle, it's not even really a fight.
Yeah.
And then we have a fight in like a gift shop.
Yeah. One thing about the first movie too that always like annoys me is just like how like Sabretooth is just like a henchman that has nothing like to do with Wolverine. I'm like, Sabretooth hates Wolverine. Why isn't he like doing stuff? Plus like,
yeah, it's weird.
He's not the greatest looking Sabretooth.
I was okay with the look.
I don't know. He kind of reminded me.
He just has no personality.
Yeah, he reminded me of there was a show my parents used to watch when I was really little called Beauty and the Beast, and he reminded me of the Beast from that show.
I've seen that, and I kind of see where you're getting at, but I don't see it myself.
Yeah.
Because I think he's just a big guy with fangs.
Yeah.
They didn't like do much else to his face. They didn't like feline him up or anything.
No.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, Magneto's henchmen don't really get much in terms of personality anyway. Like Toad's got like 2 lines.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Toad's in the movie. I think is Blob in it?
No,
or he's not in
He's just
one?
got Sabretooth, Toad, and Mystique.
That's right.
It's a very small crew.
Yeah.
I feel like the X-Men should have been able to handle this. It's like, how do we beat Magneto? A baseball bat made of wood.
Yeah, it's so weird too because like Wolverine is like always like so useless against Magneto, and like Magneto is like pretty much the main villain throughout like all these movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rogue ultimately stops him in this movie by absorbing his powers. Or just incapacitating him.
That's not what happened at all.
No, does it? She absorbs his powers.
No, yeah, but but that was deliberate. That was part of his plan to use Rogue on the machine.
Oh, that's right. It's been a while.
Jeez.
I'm remembering.
No, he's got Wolverine frozen because he's trying to break the machine, and Cyclops shoots him with his eye beams.
That's
the one
right.
useful thing Cyclops does in this entire freaking trilogy.
Yeah, that's right.
They use teamwork in this movie. Damn
Why did he have to use Rogue again?
Because he didn't want to kill himself because he's an asshole.
That's right. So he gave Rogue his powers, and then she could turn on the machine.
I think it was Wolverine that says if you were so self-righteous, it'd be you up there instead of her.
Yeah.
It shows that in spite of all of what he stands for and all that, Magneto is still a prick.
Indeed.
I do love the scene at the end where he's in the plastic prison playing chess with Xavier, which is a motif that just plays throughout the entire franchise.
Yeah, it's a very Hannibal Lecter type of thing. We're good friends, but we disagree on one issue.
One severe, earth-shattering issue.
Yeah.
The X-Men kind of go their separate ways. Wolverine goes off north to check out a facility, which is where we find him in the beginning of X2, X-Men United.
Yeah.
Which opens with probably one of the best action beats in the series.
Oh, yes.
With Nightcrawler.
Yeah, in the White House.
Yeah, being brainwashed to assassinate the president by the villain Stryker.
Right.
Stryker is probably one of the best villains these movies have had.
Yeah, definitely.
Just this bastard who's just so filled with hate that it's just like, I will wipe out every freaking mutant on the planet.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use my son to do it.
Yeah.
That is a mutant, and I guess I could be remembering something wrong, but like his son is kind of like he has something wrong with him, but like I guess Stryker did that to him.
I think because Stryker wanted Xavier to cure him, his son was like resentful.
Yeah.
But there might have been something off with him to begin with, but it also looks like since then Stryker's messed with him and lobotomized him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because he's got like scars on his head.
Yeah.
He's got like some form of telepathy, but it seems to be more illusionary based than simply just like mind reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he can make you like just see things. Like I've watched in the past like a lot of the deleted scenes from these movies, and there's like because Stryker uses his son to like trick Xavier to using a recreationist Cerebro to target and kill all the mutants. We see like a little image of him in like the X Mansion. He's talking to a little girl. It's like, oh well, where is everybody? Let's go find them. There's more to that. There was like an extended scene of him thinking he was escaping, freeing Cyclops, going back to the X Mansion, be like, oh, where's everybody? We gotta go find them.
Oh wow.
Like, I guess maybe to even trick the audience into thinking that's what was happening.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I'm not sure why they cut it.
Probably for time.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, X2 is...
There's a lot of stuff that gets cut for time. A lot of X-Men characters get restricted even further to the background because, like, not so much in the third one, but in the first two, Jubilee is around.
Yeah.
But she is... Whatever dialogue she had was just completely cut, so she's just kind of there.
Yeah, and the second one is kind of like... It's like Wolverine with, like, Iceman, Rogue, Pyro.
And then they meet up with Jean and Storm.
Yeah.
Stryker has the X-Men mansion attacked while Professor X and Cyclops go visit Magneto.
Yeah.
Jean and Storm go to find Nightcrawler because be like, why did you try to kill the president? And I do love that mansion attack scene. I like the stuff before it where like Wolverine's just kind of wandering around, having a nice banter with the Iceman.
Yeah.
Freezing the soda, that's fun. And then the first PG-13, but our first real Wolverine Berserker mode.
Oh yeah, where the guys attack the mansion.
And he's just like fucking cutting them down.
and Colossus is there too, and like Colossus is like, I'm going with you. And he's like, no, I'll stay here, defend the kids. Like,
it's like, you're expensive, bye.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
but
like,
it was a cool cameo though.
Yeah.
We get a few little cameos, like there's a girl that wakes up screaming, that's Banshee. We got our second Kitty Pryde cameo of girl who runs through walls.
Yeah.
There's like a weird running gag that I did notice when kind of like rewatching. It only plays to the first two, but like in the first one, Wolverine steals Cyclops' motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
And then in this, as they're escaping the mansion, they get into a random car. Wolverine's just like breaking the ignition to start with his claw. I think it was Pyro's like, this is Cyclops' car. And Wolverine's like, yeah, okay, sure. He just keeps stealing Cyclops' stuff. It's like, I took his motorcycle, took his car,
yeah,
and I really want to take his girlfriend.
Man, there's some like pretty fun comedy in this movie, especially with like, one thing I remember is this like, Magneto and like Mystique are kind of like a little goofy in this one scene where they're like looking at Rogue and laughing at her, and then like Magneto's like, I love what you've done to your hair. And it's just like, you fucking asshole, you did this to me. Like,
I love Rogue's response. She just takes off a glove. She's like, she goes to like, and like Iceman's like, whoa, calm down.
Yeah.
Because like I think she would have done it. She would have just like went after him, just like grabbed him by the face,
yeah,
crushed Mystique's head. And then Wolverine be like, what the fuck did you do? It's like, I killed him.
It's like, Magneto is so, like, goofy in that one scene.
He's such an asshole.
Yeah.
He's got a couple other little snippy moments, like the X-Jet gets taken out and it's like crashing and Magneto saves it. He's like, well, these people learn how to fly. Which is kind of a dig how Storm and Jean should be able to fly, but they really don't.
Yeah, Storm kind of does.
She kind of flew in the first one for a second, but she doesn't really fly properly till the third one.
Yeah.
Really would have come in handy, I think.
That's the thing, like, because these movies were made as early as they were, like, there were so many, like, limitations that we never really get to see Storm really use her powers that much.
She gets a pretty good moment in X2 because like she creates like 5 tornadoes in the sky.
Yeah.
That takes out some fighter jets that are attacking them. But outside of that, there's like not a lot she does. Like in the third movie, she's like shooting lightning out of her hands and stuff.
Yeah, Emperor style.
Yeah. I don't think, did she ever do that? Or is she just like summoning lightning?
I have an action figure that literally has her with lightning coming out of her hands, Bill. Yeah, she does that.
Okay, I'm just not sure because like I don't know.
She shoots lightning.
I feel like it's inconsistent. I feel like she does both.
She does thunder and lightning. That's her thing.
I've seen her shoot lightning out of her hands and have it come from the sky. I think that's how she killed Toad.
Yeah, I guess, but she can do both. She does it like Emperor style.
She does whatever she wants, I guess.
Yeah.
Look, she's Halle Berry. She has an Oscar. She can do whatever she wants, including a bad Catwoman movie.
Yeah. She's super powerful. I think, like, I don't know if Storm is supposed to be like a level 5 mutant. She seems like she should be, though, because she can control the weather.
Yeah, like, I think Storm at her most powerful would at least be pretty up there.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the stuff that Jean was doing in part 3 is, like, next level.
Yeah, that's true. We get to see, part of Wolverine's backstory and how he was Weapon X and what the military did to him. We get X-23, which is the first time she showed up ever, right, in this? Or was it the cartoon?
You are way off completely.
Oh, that's Lady Deathstrike, right?
Yes.
The cartoon had X-23.
Yeah, which was after this.
I get so confused with this stuff.
X-23 didn't make her cinematic debut till 2017.
Right, she started in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew that she was like an original character, invented like in, TV/movie stuff, whatever. Man, I don't know shit.
You were the one that like grew up as an X-Men fan. How are you getting so many things wrong?
I don't know.
This is embarrassing. I don't know if I should edit this or not.
Do what you gotta do.
So, Lady Deathstrike.
Right, that's right.
Completely different from the comics, because isn't she like a cyborg or something? Or at least closer to a cyborg? She's not just like girl Wolverine. Like,
yeah, I guess that's what confused me, because in this she's girl Wolverine, and I'm like, girl Wolverine is X-23, but I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you got some wires crossed. And I understand that, because like she's very different. She's just like a brainwashed henchwoman. There's like a couple times where she's like coming out of the fog. One of them is like right before she dies, where she's like, oh, thank God. Thunk.
Yeah.
But she has a pretty cool fight with Wolverine where they're just stabbing the crap out of each other.
Yeah, they both have. Yeah, because she has a healing factor too.
Yeah,
and
they just made her girl Wolverine in this.
That's. I wasn't too dumb for thinking she was X-23. She's kind of X-23 in this movie.
It's like X-23 didn't exist.
I know. But she exists now. Because we're in the future. And I'm trying to remember the past, which was so long ago. I'm old as fuck, Bill.
I'm just asking you to remember a movie that came out in 2003, damn it.
Yeah, back when you had hope and joy in your heart.
I was pretty angry in 2003, if I'm not mistaken.
Me too, teenage angst.
Yeah. What do we have to be angry about?
I don't know. Nothing really.
Big through line in X2 is Jean's powers are acting kind of wonky.
Yeah.
I mean, and she ends up sacrificing herself, and we get a little Phoenix tease to set up the next movie.
Right. And it's interesting because in the movies it kind of like sets up like, oh, like the Phoenix is not like a cosmic thing. It's just like Jean Grey's like full power being unleashed, and then the third movie really goes into it in a kind of different way, I guess, when we start talking about X3, where it's like she is like super powerful in Professor X. Well, I guess it leans into like in the comics, the more you find out about Professor X, the more you're like, Professor X is actually kind of shitty. Like he put like mental blocks to suppress her powers, and it developed its own personality, and that personality calls itself the Phoenix.
Yeah, they do lean into that more in the third one. So should we just start talking about the third one?
Yeah, let's do X3.
I mean, funny thing is, like X2, especially at the time, was considered one of the best comic book movies ever.
Yeah.
Still kind of up there for me.
Me too. I like X2 a lot.
And then we get to X-Men The Last Stand. People hate this movie.
They really do, and I don't hate it.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it has to do with like maybe how much of a fan you are of the source material. Like if you're a Cyclops fan, you probably hate all three of these movies. But also, why are you a Cyclops fan? He sucks.
He's got a cool costume, and
In the 90s he did.
yeah,
But then like Marvel gave him weird costumes and they turned him into a villain that one time.
it's true.
Then they killed him and then they brought him back.
Then he had, I guess when he was the villain, he had the weird X mask.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, no good.
That was dumb.
I think he's wearing something
Everybody
classic-ish.
likes Cyclops because in the video game he walks around and goes optic blast. That's,
But I mean,
he never says that once in the movie.
why would he say that?
0 out of 5.
Oh my god. I mean, he's pretty much, he's KO'd and captured for most of 2, and he dies in 3.
He could have at least been like before Phoenix killed him. Optic blast.
He wasn't even wearing his visor. He never even wears the visor in 3. He's wearing his glasses.
That's true. They always try to like. That's the thing with Cyclops. His powers are so weird. It's just like his eyes are constantly just like blasting out energy.
I think it's because he had a head injury, right?
I don't remember.
I think, at least versions I've seen, his powers are he shoots these energy beams, but the reason why they're so fucked up is because he had a head injury.
Yeah. Also, I can't remember, but in the X-Men movies, are his eye lasers heat beams or just kinetic force like they're supposed to be?
Honestly, I feel like it's inconsistent.
Yeah, because like sometimes they're heat beams, sometimes they're just like energy.
I feel like for the most part they get it right, but there's like a couple instances, not necessarily in any of these movies, where I'm just like, did he melt those guys?
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, I think they do get it right.
Yeah. Also, they're like beams of energy from another dimension
That's not-
sometimes.
What? What is it? What?
Yeah.
I guess Nightcrawler can teleport into another dimension. Cyclops' eye beams can come from another dimension.
Yeah.
The X-Men are weird sometimes.
They are weird. They never get to go to space. At least in the movies, but they do so much in space.
They were only just starting to get to space before Disney bought Fox.
That's true.
This Last Stand is like, they really go in on a lot of characters. Some of them are just kind of there, like your Juggernauts, your Kitty Prydes, and whatnot. Like, then you got your like, yeah, I'm in this movie, but I'm not that important anymore, like Rogue and the aforementioned Cyclops.
Yeah. We get Beast, played by Kelsey Grammer, which is perfect casting.
The best casting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So good.
The makeup looks great too. Like,
Yeah.
the best Beast makeup I think they've had. Like, I don't think they've ever quite got it right on Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, sometimes like when it hits, and the X-Men movies kind of consistently like get like some roles that are just like, that's perfect. That's what everybody wanted.
Patrick Stewart as Professor X, nailed it.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, nailed it. Kelsey Grammer Beast, nailed it. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, at least the second time around, nailed it.
Yeah.
Freaking Josh Brolin Cable was that for me too. I think he freaking nailed that too.
Cable's good.
Yeah, there's a couple of, like, I think both Magnetos are great.
Yeah, that's true.
James McAvoy's Patrick Stewart.
James McAvoy's Patrick Stewart. You better keep that in.
Hey X-Men fans, you ready for some exciting new toys? Behold, Wolverine in his classic yellow-blue costume. But also, Wolverine in his classic yellow and brown costume. That's not all. There's X-Force Wolverine, Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, Old Man Logan Wolverine, Live-Action Wolverine, Girl Wolverine, Wolverine. Because no other X-Men matters. Except Deadpool.
I don't even remember your thought you were making.
We were talking about good casting in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like, I know that, like, there was characters that were actually cut from this. Like, there was a version that had Nightcrawler come back, but the guy who played him was like, I barely do anything, and you want me to sit through 9 hours of makeup? Nah, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, there's also a lot of like background characters too in this one. Like, hey, like, did you know Psylocke was in this movie?
That character that's credited as Psylocke, despite looking and having nothing in common with Psylocke, not even her powers.
Yeah.
There's a guy with powers similar to Spike from X-Men Evolution. And I'm not even talking about the porcupine guy. I'm talking about the guy who's like literally throwing like the spikes.
Yeah.
You get multiple men, but they don't use them good.
Yeah, they use him for one scene. You even get Angel in this movie, but like he's sort of just in the beginning of the movie, and then that's kind of it.
He has like 4 scenes. He has his intro scene where it's definitely not masturbating, but it's pretty much how it's played.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like a kid. Then we have the scene where him and his adult, his dad's trying to give him the mutant cure, which is one of the big storylines of this movie.
Right.
We have him at the X-Mansion being all like, "Hey, you guys like help mutants?" And then we have him like later on overhearing like, "Oh shit, they're gonna attack Alcatraz," and then he saves his dad.
Yeah.
Like that's it. He's got like 4 lines of dialogue. That's a common thing in all the X-Men movies, not just these 3. Where like you have characters who are in the movie, they're at it throughout, but they probably only speak in their introductory scene or have like one other line.
Yeah. These movies are mainly the Wolverine, Magneto, and Professor X show.
Yeah. I mean, I understand like a lot of people don't like that because the X-Men's supposed to be a team. I like Wolverine, so it doesn't bother me as much, but I understand where people are coming from with that.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that like you'll probably correct me, but I do remember this movie being pretty hyped up for the de-aging of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. That did happen in this movie,
yes,
right?
That happened in this movie.
Okay.
Yeah. In an early scene, flashing back to them recruiting a young Jean Grey to go to the school, we get a DH Patrick Stewart and a DH Ian McKellen. It's like one of the first times it was ever in a movie, I think.
I was gonna say that. I think it was like the first time, and then
from what I understand, it's the same technique they still use today. It's just they're better at it. I actually rewatched it. Granted, I didn't watch it on an HD TV. I was watching it on my iPad.
Yeah.
And on my iPad, which admittedly it's not an HD TV, but it's in kind of HD.
It's high definition.
Yeah. I think Patrick Stewart looked okay.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen, not so much. It's not as bad as how it looked in Origins. It looks worse in Origins.
I haven't seen Origins in a very long time.
Well, we'll get to that. we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But that movie has a lot of special effect problems. But I think for a first go, it's fine. Like, it had never been done before, so it was interesting. It's weird that they did it in like broad daylight and not like oh, it's the evening, the streetlights are on, let's get a little shadow on there.
Yeah. We get it's the scene that I remember Stan Lee's cameo from, where he's like watering the garden and then Jean's powers go on and the water starts going up, and like I remember that. I don't remember his cameo in X2.
He didn't have one.
Oh.
Scheduling conflict, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was kind of in and out of the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
They weren't as like rigid as they were with the Marvel movies, the MCU Marvel movies, and like he was in all the Spider-Man movies until Far From Home.
Yeah. But
you know, what are your thoughts? And I was always like a lot of people never liked the look, but I was like fine towards it. But my feelings have slightly changed in terms of the look of Juggernaut.
He seems, in retrospect, like too small.
Yeah.
Like his
I mean,
helmet.
He always seemed a little too small.
Yeah, his helmet is like weird.
Yeah. Because like it doesn't exist for the same reason. Because it usually exists for the same reason like Magneto's helmet exists.
Yeah.
To block Professor X. Whereas this is like it just keeps my face pretty. Oi.
Yeah.
But once you have that Juggernaut from Deadpool 2, it's like, why would we ever want to go back to that? No offense, Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, I remember when we saw this movie in the theater, and everybody lost their mind for "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
I mean, look, I laughed. I thought it was funny. I didn't know it was a meme.
I didn't know it was a meme, too.
I just thought he called Shadowcat a bitch. Yeah. And I think it's funny because I'm 17.
Man, our friend we were with, he really liked it too. He kept bringing it up.
Really?
Yeah, he would always just be like, there's a scene in the movie, and then he says, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." Like, that's how he would always describe it to me.
I mean, we were teenagers.
We were teenagers.
I mean, I still find it funny because he's calling Shadowcat a bitch. I think it's hilarious for some reason. I get why some people are like, "Oh, it's so cringy, he's quoting a meme." I'm like, I didn't know, and I don't care. It's an old meme that nobody cares about.
It was funny. I liked it.
The big battle at the end, I think, is pretty cool.
Yeah, before we get to that too, like, I really wanted to talk about like Jean Grey becoming like Phoenix because
right, the thing that's supposed to be the main storyline but gets kind of lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about just like how inconsistent it is because it's like she sacrificed her life to save everybody, wakes up as the Phoenix, and then she's like evil because Professor X suppressed her for so many years, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna get my revenge. I'm gonna kill Professor X, and then she kills Professor X. And then she's just like, well, Professor X didn't like Magneto, so I guess I'm going to help Magneto.
But she mostly just stands around him and, like, not doing much of anything.
Also, her powers are creepy because she gets, like, all weird, like, gross-looking veins in her
like
stuff.
dead eyes.
Yeah. And I guess her power is, like, she can, like, kind of rip apart anything to, like, a molecular level.
Yeah, she disintegrates a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they're not getting snapped back.
No. But yeah, Jean Grey's evil now.
I mean, she's got split personality. The real Jean's in there, and she's begging Wolverine, stab me, kill me.
Plus, I also do remember there's a scene in the movie that is pretty good where Mystique, like, they make these bullets that make people not have mutant powers anymore.
They're just darts.
Yeah, and they're going to shoot Magneto, and Mystique jumps in the way. And she, like, turns into a human, and then, like, Magneto is, like, immediately like, oh, you're not a mutant anymore? Okay. And then, like, he's walking away, and he's just like, she was so beautiful. And it's just like, just to remind you, it's just like, Magneto's a bad guy.
He's a mutant supremacist.
Yeah, he sucks.
Like, he didn't even have, like, the decency to, like, give her, like, his cape so she could at least cover up her nudity.
Yeah, she's just, like, there naked, and then, like, he's just like, oh, that sucks.
He kind of deserved getting his powers taken away at the end.
Yeah.
Even if it was only temporarily.
I mean, yeah, even Rogue gets her powers taken away. And
that pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, because we never got cool Rogue.
But at the end of the day, like, from what I understand, they did go back and forth because there's a deleted scene of the opposite where he's like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But, like, for that version of Rogue, it kind of works.
It does.
Because she doesn't have the cool flight powers and all that stuff.
Yeah, she, like, hated her powers.
She's literally just, I can't touch anybody without killing them.
Yeah.
I put people in comas. I can't do anything. I can't live a life. Her powers are a curse.
Yeah.
That's why there's one moment in this movie I kind of hate, where when they first find out about the cure and Rogue comes in to talk to Professor X, Wolverine, Beast, and Storm. He's like, is it true that they can cure us? And Storm's like, no, they can't cure us because there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, that would have worked on any other character but Rogue. Because they just made Storm look like a jerk.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like, we don't all have awesome weather controlling powers, Storm.
Yeah, also, like, Professor X school, you're supposed to be, like, helping kids use their powers instead of just, like, you're just teaching them about philosophy and chemistry and shit.
To be fair, some of these kids are orphans that are in Runaways, so they're giving them an education, too.
Yeah. I guess you never really get to see them, like, training with their powers, though.
No, because it's also supposed to be a school.
That's true. It's Hogwarts, though.
Yeah. Well, look, dude.
I know. Especially in these movies.
Especially back when these movies were made.
Yeah.
They didn't have the money for, like, a kid to just kind of swing by with stretchy limbs and all that stuff.
Get a little bit of it. I remember there was, like, a kid. That was, like... Just like a joke scene, though. Yeah.
There's like a montage. We see some kids playing basketball, and one of them starts zipping around.
Yeah.
We see like little snippets. We see someone running on water. We see them using their powers once in a while, but it's not like it's like, okay, kids, it's time for power class. It's like, well, I mean, each kid's different. All their abilities are different. You can't have one specific course for everything. Like.
Plus, there's a lot of like mutant powers that like really suck. Like sometimes it's just like, what's your power, kid? I can make grass grow slightly faster when I look at it.
We do see someone with that power in Logan.
Oh, yeah.
There's a kid in part 2 with, like, I have a weird tongue.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he has powers beyond that.
It's like my thumb is, like, gigantic. I don't know.
There's, like, a kid that can, like, the only power we see him doing is he's just, like, changing the channels by blinking.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of neat. Yeah. But X3, final battle, I guess, now.
I mean, I think it's kind of fun.
I like it a lot.
I'm a sucker for the bad guys are on this side, the good guys are on this side, and then they meet in the middle.
Yeah, before the final battle too, I love the scene where like Magneto and his crew are just walking up the Golden Gate Bridge, and there's like a mom in a car, and she just like locks like the door, and Magneto just looks at her like, "I could kill you so fast."
But it's also kind of a look of like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like he's just enjoying being himself in that moment.
And then he lifts up the Golden Gate Bridge.
I
And
think this is after that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does that first, and then they're walking to Alcatraz.
Then they're finishing the walk to Alcatraz.
Yeah.
And I also kind of like it. It just shows you how little regard Magneto has for some of the others when he sends in like the first wave of his army to attack Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah.
And like Pyro's about to go, he's like, chess, the pawns go first.
Yeah.
And they all just get like shot up with the cure gun.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing to just like jump back to X2 with like Pyro starts off as like a good guy, but then kind of
Good.
yeah,
Troubled teenager.
troubled. I like the one thing Magneto says to him because like Pyro is kind of like jealous of Iceman and like he's like I can't produce like fire, I can only control it, and then like Magneto's just like your power makes you a god among men or something.
Yeah, it's like you're a god among insects.
Yeah.
Never let anyone tell you differently.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true because Magneto can't produce metal, but he can control it.
Yeah.
So that's a neat moment.
It's also like, what's your name? John. What's your real name, John?
Oh, yeah.
Pyro.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the final battle, it's pretty crazy. You know, we got Beast and is like just going like, "Ah!"
There's one scene where like it looks silly, even though like I like it, where he just like jumps forward and it's like clearly like wire work.
I mean, throughout all the X-Men movies, there's a lot of like, they got their wires.
Yeah.
I do like there's like a fun bit of banter between Wolverine and Beast where it's like, I thought you were a diplomat.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's like, as Churchill says, there comes a time when everyone, you get it.
Yeah. Good final battle, and then Phoenix shows up, and
Well, like once like all like the numbers thin out and Magneto gets cured up by the X-Men using the power of teamwork against him, he goads Phoenix into just going like, ah!
yeah. And Wolverine has to like
He's
take her out.
He's the only one that can get too close to her. Everything disintegrates except for him and his magic pants
Yeah.
because PG-13.
Definitely. It is like weird because this is like one of the first instances I remember like thinking to myself like, wait, how crazy is Wolverine's healing factor?
You know, in the movies, it's really amped up, I think. Because I think it's like, at one point, it was like, if you shot Wolverine with a gun, he'd go down and he'd be down for like a day, but then he'd be fine.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, you shoot Wolverine with a gun,
And like
he
the
shrugs it
bullets
off.
like are like coming out of his skin as he like heals.
Like, you could incinerate his face into a skull, and in the next comic panel, he's got a face again.
Yeah. I'm sure they've even like done more ridiculous stuff. That's like if one cell of Wolverine is still alive, he'll regenerate.
I think that's...
Also, he'll still have his metal for some reason.
Well, the metal doesn't get destroyed.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's animanium.
Yeah.
You'd have to throw that thing in the sun or something.
Yeah. Or Magneto can rip it off, and then Wolverine can lose his mind and not have a nose. They should do that in the movies.
No. God, no.
We do get Bone Claw Wolverine eventually.
Yeah, but mostly in the past.
Yeah.
And briefly in the present.
Yeah, you're right. Briefly in the present. But yeah, I guess like that's the finale where Professor X is dead, and then Wolverine kills Jean Grey, and then Magneto has no powers, but then we get like a couple of like teasers at
Yeah,
the
like
end.
the chess piece wobbles, and then Professor X, I guess, put his brain in someone else's body, who may or may not be an identical twin, depending on which filmmaker, producer, whoever you ask.
Yeah.
This was like, it was the first Marvel movie to have a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, not everyone knew about it, because I remember circa maybe around the time of the Wolverine or a little after Days of Future Past talking to someone about it, and he was complaining about how like they didn't explain how Professor X was alive. I'm like, I mean, well, they showed him alive again in the post-credit scene of X-Men 3. He's like, what? It's like, it's been like 9 years or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man, get with the program. This is the movie that started it all.
I mean, as a trilogy, I think it tells like a solid enough story.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, I know I've mentioned deleted scenes a few times already. There's an alternate ending, because the way the movie ends, it's got Wolverine helping lead the Xavier School with Storm, and he kind of like stands on a balcony. He seems content, but then the next time we see him chronologically is in the Wolverine, and he's living in the wilderness as a hobo.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what happened there?
As a hobo. Because hobos are in the wilderness. He's not a nomad. He's a hobo.
I don't know.
Filthy hobo with his bindle and fighting bears, because that's what hobos do.
Depending on what era.
Yeah.
But there's a deleted scene, like an alternate version of the ending, where Beast stays on with Storm,
Okay.
and Wolverine leaves.
Oh, that makes more sense.
We see Wolverine go back to the bar from the first movie. The bartender still has like the cut in half shotgun.
Huh.
I'm like, man, that's a much better ending scene, because that would actually fit in with the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Release the slightly different cut.
Release the slightly different cut. Come on, you cowards.
Do it, Disney. Do it. I know you won't, but do it.
Yeah. But overall, it was weird, because this X3 came out
2006,
and I believe Spider-Man 3 came out 2006 or 2007.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was weird, because like two trilogies kind of ended at the same time, and they
Yeah.
were Marvel movies, and they both kind of like, people like hated the finale to them.
And then in 2008, Iron Man came out.
And then everything was changed forever.
Pretty much. Everyone started looking scornful on the X-Men movies, but I say, first two especially, hold up pretty decently. And there's more good X-Men movies than there are bad ones.
Yeah, I would argue the third one is not really as bad as a lot of people say it is.
I think a lot of it's just, it's there's a such thing as an overhyped movie. There's also such thing as an overhyped bad movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's so bad, and you watch it, it's like, oh, that was fine.
Yeah, definitely.
But, so, course of the series, best character, Wolverine, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, he's the one with an arc. It's kind of funny how, like, the love triangle, which Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean, it's like, it's so lopsided in Wolverine's favor. Because
Yeah.
it kind of really feels like Jean does kind of love him, but feels obligated to Scott.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you watch these movies back to back to back, you kind of realize 1 and 2 take place, like, so close to each other. It's like 1 happens, and then, like, maybe like 2 months later, 2 happens.
Yeah.
And then maybe less than a year later, 3 happens. So it's like, Wolverine knew Jean Grey for like a week. So it's like, you love her that much? You just met her. And you get so destroyed by this that you go live in a cave and are haunted by her in dreams?
Yeah.
And can't, like, marry that beautiful Japanese woman that also loves you?
Sure.
Just saying, Wolverine.
Yeah.
You got problems.
Definitely. He's so conflicted. It's like you don't understand what it's like to have metal in your body.
It's so heavy.
Yeah. But yeah, I like these movies still. But you know, this is the first of many X-Men movies, and it's kind of mind-blowing because when X3 came out, it was kind of like, okay, that's it. And then like a few years later, they're like, we're doing X-Men Origins. Then that movie was actually bad, and I'm like, okay, that's definitely it. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, there's X-Men First Class now. And that's the one I didn't see in theaters. And then people were like, actually, that one's really good. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is really good.
And then we got the Wolverine after that.
Yeah, and then we got like 4 more movies after that.
Yeah, I mean, they'd still be making X-Men movies if Disney didn't buy Fox,
Yeah.
mostly because they had to. That's the thing. That's why we kept getting them.
Yeah, we probably would have had X-Force and
We would have. That was supposed to spin out of Deadpool.
so crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of these. So I guess whenever we have the week that it's like, what should we do? It's like, well, there's more X-Men movies to talk about.
Yep. The First Class, not trilogy, quadrilogy?
Yeah, I guess that works.
The Wolverine trilogy. The Deadpool movies.
Yeah.
And then I guess at some point we might have to talk about New Mutants.
Haven't seen it yet.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's fine-ish.
It's fine-ish.
Yeah.
Put that on the DVD box. Out of Touch Podcast. Finest.
Ish.
Yeah.
It's fine-ish. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not okay sounds too good. It's fine-ish.
It's the official reading. It's fine-ish.
Ish out of 10. but good, great. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Fine-ish.
No, it's more than fine-ish.
Okay.
There's more to this than there is to New Mutants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Snick.